Coming up on Valley News Live at 10, relief coming to business owners on both sides of the Red River. A look at whether or not masks are recommended after you get a COVID vaccine. Plus, affirming his presidential win. Highlights from Joe Biden's address to the nation tonight. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Help is on the way for Fargo bars and restaurants. City commissioners having to come forward asking for relief now or going into the new year. Valley News team's Katie Upperly joins us in the studio and walks us through what this means for area businesses. Katie?
Mike, Fargo City Commissioner Dave Pepcorn and Tony Garrick asked that the city leaders take action to help bars and restaurants struggling during the pandemic before it's too late. They asked that the 2021 liquor license renewal fees be waived, utility fees forgiven, and property taxes to be forgiven. The commission approved 2 of the 3. City commissioners are fighting to support local bars and restaurants who have been faced with several hurdles during the COVID-19 pandemic and continue to adapt to restrictions that limit their business hours and capacity.
We saw the numbers. We saw people losing their jobs, getting their hours cut dramatically. You know, a server who might make $120 a day is now making $20 a day. So we knew that we needed to help them so they could keep people hired and keep people going.
Under the approved business assistance program, the next 6 months of utility charges would be waived, and bars and restaurants would be given a rebate to cover their food and alcohol license fees for 2021, accounting for roughly $1.1 million in assistance. Commissioner Tony Garrick also proposed forgiving next year's property taxes, but later rescinded it, saying it needs more research. It's complicated and costly.
This is an industry that's being targeted specifically by these mandates and these restrictions, and knowing that we needed to help them, or else we will lose a number of these establishments in Fargo, which is, you know, if there's 450 of them and we lose 10%, that's a lot of jobs.
CEO and president of Fargo Moorhead Convention and Visitors Bureau, Charlie Johnson, says he supports this movement to help bars and restaurants. But it's a fine line to determine who receives assistance, as so many industries are suffering, including hotels, retail, and attractions.
What if the restrictions are so harsh and business is so bad that a bunch of those people who are among our stakeholders don't come out whole on the other end, don't survive? We've already had a few hotels that have closed.
Johnson says he agrees that bars and restaurants need help, saying we need to continue to fight for them as well as other businesses. Garrick says the $1.1 million is not being pulled from taxpayers. The fees are simply not being collected. He goes on to say that this does impact the city's overall budget, but in a small way that will not impact the public. Mike?
All right, thanks, Katie. At the next Fargo City Commission meeting, they're planning to discuss more efforts to help businesses, including suspending utility shutoffs. Meanwhile, in Grand Forks, the mayor there is also hoping to help hurting bars and restaurants. He's eliminating 2021 license fees for specific classes of alcohol and restaurant licenses. Today, the mayor extended the city's 10 p.m. closing time and 50% capacity requirement on bars and restaurants, this until the end of the year. Today in Fargo, a major step toward the end of the pandemic. Several healthcare workers at Sanford getting their long-awaited COVID-19 vaccine today as the first batches of the Pfizer vaccine arrived this morning. Lucky, grateful, and humbling are words as Sanford infectious disease doctors use to describe being the first in North Dakota to get the vaccine.
It's been a long time, and a lot of people have paid a very big price for this disease, and many people continue to pay a big price. Now, the side effects are usually mild to moderate. I'm sure I'll have some soreness in the injection site tonight.
So far, no arm soreness or side effects for the doctor, but we're going to check in tomorrow with those who got the vaccine today. All True Health System in Grand Forks will receive its first allocation of the vaccine on Wednesday. The 450 initial doses will be used to vaccinate staff. In Minnesota, vaccines will be delivered to hospitals this week. A FedEx truck backing up to the loading dock at the Minneapolis VA this morning, carrying the first shipment. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was on hand as the driver made sure the temperature was where it needed to be.
This is the very first one as far as we know, but it will be happening now. This is the one that they landed from FedEx. FedEx picked it up from their facility. They moved it out. I wanted to watch with the driver, the tracking of it. They checked to make sure that it translated the whole way under temperature, which it did. It met those protocols. We had run practice runs on this a few weeks ago, but this one actually has the vaccine in it, and it's here, it's safe, and it's ready to go.
Those vaccines also will be going to healthcare workers. Meanwhile, North Dakota's Indian Affairs Commissioner says tribes in the state won't be held to CDC or state distribution plans. The Department of Health and Human Services is allowing tribes to decide whether they wanted to receive the vaccine locally or federally. The 3 affiliated tribes in Spirit Lake Nation partnered with the state and will receive their first vaccines as early as next week. Other area tribes partnered with Indian Health Services, which released its vaccine last month, but has yet to release arrival dates.
The tribes, at their discretion, can administer the vaccine to whomever they wish to. So if it's the hospital, nurses, police force, whatever, great. If not, maybe it's elderly people, maybe it's some other populations. So that's just a little bit different than what we have in comparing to the state.
Davis adds that the tribes also plan to use the Moderna vaccine, which they hope the FDA will authorize by the end of this week. Many are wondering if they should still be wearing masks after getting vaccinated. Infectious disease consultants say yes, because it's not clear if the vaccine is effective in preventing transmission. Both the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines require 2 shots. Pfizer's second dose comes after 3 weeks, but Moderna's is administered after 4. Especially for in-between time, doctors say that you should continue to mask up because it's unknown if the vaccine will prevent you from getting infected.
The reason why we don't know that now is because we haven't had enough time to study it, and that wasn't a primary outcome with some of the registrational trials by the vaccine manufacturer.
Dr. Mateo says that we don't know how safe the vaccine is for pregnant women and children under the age of 16, but adds we may know by late spring or early summer. And according to the Health Department, North Dakota is expected to receive more than 6,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine and 13,000 doses from Moderna. Minnesota lawmakers have reached a deal to help businesses and workers struggling from the latest round of shutdowns, and it comes in the form of direct payments to businesses. There's also a tentative deal for a 13-week extension of unemployment benefits that could help 120,000 Minnesotans. Esme Murphy has the latest.
Today's bill, something that I'm very, very proud to be one of the chief authors of, provides $216 million of relief to all over Minnesota.
$90 million will be in direct grants to restaurants, bars, or bowling alleys whose business is down 30% or more. The grants will range from $10,000 to $45,000 depending on the restaurant's size. Another $112 million will go to Minnesota counties to award grants to businesses who are down less than 30%. And $14 million will go to grants to theaters and convention centers, with grants starting at $15,000 for the first screen up to $150,000 per theater. The money could be in business owners' hands by the end of the month, and it will not have to be paid back.
These are true grants. These are not loans, and these are basically the least that we can do for them to have been kind of gone through the ringer as they have been.
The proposal also calls for a 13-week extension of unemployment insurance. Democratic leaders did address the issue of the at least 160 restaurants who have formed a group called the Reopen Minnesota Coalition and who say they plan to reopen this Friday no matter what. DFL leaders say they should not get checks.
Businesses who violate the law will be found in violation of the law and will have to pay civil penalties and deal with the Attorney General's office.
This relief bill, as discussed, is expected to pass. We're still looking for help with our virtual food drive. So far, we've raised several $100s more just in this evening, bringing us to more than $13,000. But that's still less than 40% of our goal. If you're in a position to help, there are a number of items that you can purchase and donate right from your phone. We advise you to download our free VNL News app, look for our virtual food drive, and click to donate. Still ahead tonight, cosmic wonders, NASA releasing never-seen-before images. But first, today's cold temperatures may be nearing 40 again for some of us by the end of the week. Hutch explains in your weekend forecast.